And I'm actually pretty much a stickler about controlling my time. In fact, I get up in the morning. The first thing I do is I go for a walk, and then I have what I call the one thing. That's the one thing I'm going to accomplish that day, but
Hmm.
get nothing else done. And so I will often unplug my phones and I will disconnect from social media
Yeah,
unless I need something to get that one thing done.
very good.
And then I
Yeah.
don't do it until I get that one thing done. I may go 2, 3 hours with letting everything go to voicemail. All
Yeah.
my calls
Well,
and
that's a
stuff.
good approach, though, really. And you figure when that one thing's done, it's a sense of accomplishment. And if you have time for a second most important thing, that's great.
Right.
Because, and you've probably seen a lot of this in action where people will do, say, 100 things in a day, but it doesn't have as much impact cumulatively as that one big thing.
Or they never finish the things they're working on. They just jump
Yeah.
around.
Yeah. It's nice having a sense of completion.
Yeah. So I have the discipline to do that. Some people they would hear their smartphone would chime and wait, it's a message, and they'd answer it right away. I don't do that most of the time. If
No.
I'm focused on that one thing,
Yeah.
uh, I'll ignore everything else
I
because
think a lot of people that are like super productive follow the same approach.
yeah,
Because, and I used to be bad where I just pick up the phone whenever a friend's calling or something. Then I'm at the point to say, you know what? I'm not going to pick up. I let people know ahead of time that I'm just not going to be available. And some of my friends would be upset, saying, I know you're home because I see you're doing something on Facebook. I go, just because I'm home working like you're posting stuff on Facebook does not necessarily mean that I'm available to chit chat. And I'm
um,
not being rude or anything like that. It just I'm as protective as my time as you are.
there's I don't know what browser you use. I use Chrome.
I do as well.
The Chrome extension called it's I think it's called Facebook Be Unseen or
Okay,
Hide. And if you install that in your Chrome browser, it doesn't tell people when you're online. Uh,
smart.
if you use regular Messenger, when you read a message, they can see you read their message, and
That's
I
right.
let them right now most of the time. But if I want to, I could activate that Chrome extension
Hmm.
and it will not show them when I've read the message.
Gotcha. Yeah.
And the benefit of that is a lot of people want an instant response. They expect you, if they see you read their message and you didn't respond, they're like, "What's wrong?" Um,
I've experienced that too, and the approach I tend to take really is the response is kind of determined by the context of the message.
right.
So when I'm saying that, it's like, I'm running late, and I apologize for that, but it's like, okay, Willie, I'm running late, so it's like I'm expecting a quicker response from you because we were initially scheduled for the 7:30. Now, if you're not replying for a while, that's a different story.
Yeah,
Yeah,
um, sometimes you also want to think about the response. Sometimes you don't
exactly.
want a knee-jerk response, and so
Yeah,
that's one of the biggest reasons I installed that extension.
correct.
I have a lot of fairly powerful extensions. I have one called Facebook Unfriend.
Hmm.
It looks at your interactions on Facebook and looks at people that you haven't interacted with, for a long, long time. And it
Yeah.
shows you the people, and you can you can select all, or you can just click
Yeah.
individuals and
Well,
unfriend.
and I think
Um,
it's a good approach to have because say you're capped at your 5,000 right now,
yeah,
there may be
I,
100 people that you don't do anything with whatsoever. It might have been somebody that friended you in the first place because you're a friend of a friend.
and when I first got on Facebook, which was about 10 years ago now, over 10 years ago, uh, everybody was trying to get as many friends as possible.
Yeah.
And now some people think that that's not that productive. So
No.
now I'm selective. And
And
one of the things I
sometimes
look
it's, well, I was going to say, sometimes like, they think it's a status thing. It's like, well, there's an acquaintance I spoke to a while ago, and she was commenting on how many friends I currently had at that time as far as Facebook. She goes, you only have to kill a couple hundred friends? Like, yeah, but these are a couple hundred solid connections
right,
rather
right.
than 5,000 people that, well, you're friends with George, like George who? Like, they may not know me by just the first name, but if I give them the full name, they should be able to say something about me. If they can't,
Yeah,
then. it's not really a solid connection at all.
So now when I get friend requests, every now and then I'll drop below the 5,000, and when I get friend requests, I click and look at their profile, and
Mhm.
I look at like how many of my existing friends are also their friends.
Yeah, and if there's a lot, then that's a different story. I know I'd be more inclined to be friends with them, but if there's nobody, I sometimes get random people, and this tends to be attracted